Market vitals. The levels you need to triage. Triage the market. Matt, rocking a Lane Kiffin, little Lane Kiffin look today, and would love to be in the Grove tailgating sometime in my life. Never been. Have you been?
I have. It's a nice place.
You have.
It's awfully sticky. You know, it's the
Well,
South.
it's hot. Yeah, it's for sure. It's the South. A bunch of Kennedy Democrats, right?
Yep.
You know what the Kennedys say, Matt?
What?
When you get caught with your pants down, pull them up and start lying. Apparently the CIA had a hand. Apparently.
Well,
no news. That's no news. That's not news.
I don't think that's 60 years later. I don't think that should be shocking.
That's no news.
And they have a hand in paying Twitter billions of dollars too. So
our government at work, your government at work.
Not mine.
Always fun.
Not my vote.
Always fun. Matt, breaking news. Kerry Lake, all you election deniers out there, you get your day in court, and I guess a bunch of people are going to have to testify.
Why is Bill Gates being called to testify?
Because I think he was involved in the tabulation machine.
Of course he is.
I don't know. It's him.
No, but seriously, like, why is he being called? I just want to know.
I have more questions than answers, as usual.
As usual.
As for par.
Lots of questions.
Matt, I wanted to not there. Come on, where is it? There it is. There it is. There she blows. We're not going to talk elections because there's no price discovery around it. I just wanted to bring it up. Right. You conspiracy theorists out there, all of you conspiracy theorists, you get your day in court. Congratulations. Matt.
Breaking news. Hold on before you bring it up here. AMC.
The AMC, the movie theater chain?
Yeah. Under $5 again.
The Reddit bros.
All you apes, good luck.
The Reddit broskies. Your internet is like, it's like mule.
It's on vacation. It's on vacation.
It's mule power. From Borax.
Has been down to 475 already today, 474, and we're going back to zero. I'm
not sure. Do they have any revenues?
Dude, it was like $1. It was $1.50 when this all started. Have you forgotten where we came from?
No, I really didn't realize that.
Yeah, it was on the way. It was on the way to zero before COVID hit, and now, like who's going to the movies right now?
Lee is on Sunday. Lee's going. Oh yeah, Lee Sunday. Is the Lee and my brethren, my Jewish Lee says nope. Nope. Not. No, but
this thing was down to like $1.96. I mean, literally, it was on its way to zero. Here's March of 86 cents.
I mean, it's got to be worth something. Do they own all the real estate that their theaters are sitting on? I mean,
there's no way they own anything.
Maybe
they're not making money. They're not making money. They keep raising money. It's like the Fed. It's like the Fed is running the movie chain.
Lee's got a good Sunday planned. Chinese food and World Cup winnings in Scotch. I love that idea. Man, I got this behind me. We like cartoons because we live in a cartoon world. There's a lot of talk about ESG, environmental and social governance. The environmental side of this will be monitored via carbon taxes, carbon credits, trading carbon. And unfortunately, if you're a developing country and if you're poor, it's not going to be very beneficial for you.
It's not going to be very developing.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. But man, let me share something here because it's around. We always get to things in a roundabout way. Like that's what we like to do. Roundabout. Give me the roundabout. Wall Street Silver sharing. It's cute how they claim they're leaving Twitter. That's not how it works. Twitter is the PvP. Everything else is PvE. The New Scientist had tweeted more than 140,000 Twitter users who announced they were moving to Mastodon using tags like bye bye Twitter or RIP Twitter. Of those 140,000, just 1.6% have actually quit the social media platform.
Right, because they're all addicted.
It's fantastic.
I'm not using that crack anymore. I'm using the meth.
Hooray for my side. But Matt, here's our roundabout way, because I had that and the thing before it that I liked, like we don't like likes, even though I like some things. I usually retweet something if I like it. And that's what we prefer that you do, retweet. Anyway, 3M, current annual net sales of manufacturing PFAS, about 1.3 billion. Another bunch of letters that I don't know what mean, but 60% margins, I understand that. And the company expects to incur related total pre-tax charges of about 1.3 billion, yada, 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 2.3 billion, yada, 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 as it exits from PAFS. I believe this is forever chemicals, things that aren't great for the environment. So let's look at 3M because
we haven't looked at it. I don't know if we ever have actually, and that is, as a stalwart, used to be a name that a lot of people owned. Probably it might have even been in the Dow. I don't know if it is in the Dow anymore, but $67 billion market cap, paying a 5%, 4.88.
Hey, hold on a second. Right now, you're on the dividend, as it's one of the better ones that we have ever covered.
We have taken out the COVID low, which was here at 116, and we're trading. We went all the way down here to 105-ish, 104, and now sitting at 121. Not a pretty chart, Bob. I mean, this is not a pretty 3-year chart. So every rally looks to be sold until that changes. I don't think you can be long until this thing is basically back over 150 right now here today.
Well, I mean, it's just let's call it what it is. What I'm not saying that the environmental side of these things are wrong, any of them, right? But at the very least, you have to respect that it's going to affect the bottom line of the companies that you're invested in. If they say, wow, this is a giant moneymaker with great margins, but we're not going to do it anymore. Right. Okay, that's great. But don't expect that the price can stay where it is. Those two things can't be equal.
Yeah, so obviously the market knew that they were getting rid of this line of products because it's already been halved. So nothing really happening here today.
Can you fractal out? I mean, this is a long.
I mean, it's down 55 cents today. So whatever news that you saw,
right?
It happened here probably a few days ago. Maybe it was up here. I don't know. But the whole market sold off. So 129 down to 121. Not really anything shocking or moving here. We're just in the same ballpark range we've been in on the shorter term. And 120 goes. Next level is 114. So again, these are slow movers, and it's half off this year, like most things. Right. So yeah, it's not pretty. It's interesting that some of these brokers, I even saw on one of my accounts today, I was telling you that they have ESG ratings. Now they're not on every company, but they had one on Tesla, and I was just like, and then I looked at Roblox, a video game maker. They don't have one. And there's all kinds of noise about Roblox too. So
well, listen, ESG is going to be my prediction for by 2024. There's like 9 other letters in there.
Right.
It's going to be the alphabet.
And all of them will be taxable.
That'll be alphabet soup.
Yes.
What boxes do you have checked in order for me to invest?
Do you have products for non-binary zebras?
Hey, listen, I can't say the word protruding, or we got sanctioned yesterday on Twitter.
Well, when people build, they erect things, and sometimes
when I was a kid, my favorite toy was the erector set that I got one Christmas. Right? I mean, major erections going on, and if you left the door open, the erections were even more pronounced.
And if you had a puppy who, enjoyed erections, and there we can go all over the place.
There we go. All right, Matt, let me jump to another thing here and share. I got this email from the CME. Capital efficiencies are drawing more traders to commodity index contracts. It's not just efficiencies, Matt. It's the benefit, the tax benefit that you get when you trade commodities. It's a giant thing. We keep talking about it. Like, why would you trade, physical oil if you could trade oil futures? Now, these are the broad-based commodity indexes available at the Merck, and it's the Goldman Sachs Commodity Index, and the new kid on the block is the Bloomberg Commodity Index. Futures on these things, Matt, these are held and traded by giant trading companies, hedge funds, things like that. But the index is, it's made up of a bunch of these commodities. And I spent several years in the hog pit and had great success taking advantage of the flows. And I keep talking, I've talked about the flows in the curve of hogs, strictly driven by this, because when the commodity index holds futures, right, they have to roll them from one contract to the next. Anyway, there's a lot of people trading the commodity super cycle here. As you see, Bloomberg Commodity Index futures notional open interest up 92% to $1 billion. S&P Goldman Sachs Commodity Index futures cleared OT swaps notional interest up 32% to 2.3 billion. I'd say all of this because first of all, I didn't realize that was the notional value of these things. But also it's a little easier, just macro look, price discovery wise, on this commodity super cycle that we've been in and that we have traded out of or off of the highs from. So let's take a look at it because it makes a difference, long term. Inflation, all of these things, a lot of it is tied to commodities and where are we in this super cycle. And so talk about it.
So right before COVID in January, this is the closing here of 2019. I mean, we were trading here, right around 442. We collapsed, got cut in half, all of which makes sense, right? No demand, everybody shits the bed real fast there in 3 months. And then from there, we print money like mad and go from 232 all the way to 845. Double Galaga forming here on the 8-year chart. I guess I would say this is almost a decade, and I can pull it back a little bit further, but I don't know. This thing looks like to me like it's rolling over. I mean, and here was an old high. That's right where we're sitting. Like if 575 can't hold, what's this level? This little, 576. So when 575 goes, I mean,
if it goes, I think that's interesting because we got the same type of feel. Nat gas is giving a bunch away. Crude had given a bunch away. We're kind of sitting in these areas where it's like, well, does the cycle continue? Because the next leg up is going to look vicious if we do.
Right. If they go back up, this is going to be 1600. Right.
I mean, that's something
but again, it's going to, it's going to have to be like $100 higher. It's going to have to get back above 700 for me to be real bullish. And then even then it's got to get back above 850. So I don't know, like right now I have no position in this. I don't trade it. I trade the individuals more than I do like these types of, aggregate ETF, I guess you would call them ETF futures contracts. I don't know.
Yeah. It's just a broad macro.
And I don't know how they're made up. I don't know what makes up the contract and how much.
Well, they're heavily.
Yeah, that's what you said. So is it? But when you say heavily, is it 60%?
I would think it's probably at least 50%. I know that in the hogs. Just to give you an idea, I mean, I think that the weighting was only like 2 or 3% of the index, but that resulted in tens of thousands of contracts rolling every roll cycle, which is a boon if you're when you were on the floor taking advantage of that roll cycle. So it still happens electronically.
Yeah, and if we're right about oil and oil is not going below 60. Then this would follow course probably of oil and natural gas. Now, natural gas is off 30% in a week. We've talked about polar vortexes and we've talked about where it could go. And let me just bring it up, just because it should be shocking. But again, it rolled over, and now you're at a level where I'm getting kind of interested again. Really from that 470 to the 530 levels where we're trading right now. 532. And again, this was just 701. So this is off 20 or 30%, 33%. Let's call it $2, from 7. That's a monster move, Bob. It's just it's really astounding how this thing is moving. And this is just a 610 chart. But again, that looks like it's got a base right in that level too, even on that chart. And then, just the short term, just so you can see it's 710 all the way down here to 525 and change already. Now it's up to 532, trying to get off the bottom here. And this 475 was back here in late October. So could it push to that? Sure. Why not?
Why not? Dang it. Why not?
But again, I would probably start buying this level down to that level right now, which again is not a small level. That's a 10% range just to get from 525 to 475.
Right.
So that's a big move. So you better make sure, if you're planning on buying at 475 and you buy a little here at 530 or 525, that you buy a little. Wait for it to show itself to the upside still, or you could just wait for the upside to kind of show itself, which it hasn't yet. So, I mean, we've just, on a real short-term chart, these 5 or 10 minutes, the last 2 days, I mean, it's gotten bludgeoned. Just, 2 days. This was yesterday. This was Sunday. Sunday, we were trading at 620 all the way down here to 520.
Right on, right on. Hey, Matt.
So that would, for me, that would mean you'd probably have to get over like 544 right now to see some, some squeeze action come into this. 544. And we're at 535. So let's see if they can, again, down 8.5% and down 30% from where we were just 1 week ago. This was 1 week ago, the 13th. We're at the 20th today.
And I think everybody's eyeballs are on the thought that this polar vortex is one collapse, one and done, and that the rest of the winter is going to be mild. Right. And our boy Leopold Heinrich, I'm not sure which is which, first or last there, is saying that air mass in the Arctic is massive and not going away anytime soon. And so short natty at your own risk, especially down 30%. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah, again, this is the area that I was hoping to buy, and I started picking some up. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. See how much heat I have to take, but I'm willing to trade it down to that 470 level. So,
I close below 470.
I might put on 10% of my size here.
Right.
And then buy more if it goes over 544, maybe put on another 20%. So then I'm pyramiding my low buy, but it's, I'm in good position then. You want to buy things as they're,
Matt, that is a nuance. That is the hardest thing, I think, for traders to do, and all the most successful traders can do, which is shitty your average.
Yeah.
It's one thing it's easy to, well, if I liked them there, I got to like them here. And if I like, to average in
lower,
it's harder to shitty your average when you're right. It just is.
But sometimes you just need to get in more once it shows itself that it's done going down. It has not shown that it's done going down yet in the last week. So
interesting, very interesting. Man, yesterday the Japanese gave the bulls a little scare, the short-term bulls anyway, as they have redefined the range, which with their 10-year Japan government bond can trade, and it's up to a half a basis point, from a negative half a basis point, negative rates to positive rates. We talked about this yesterday while we were watching the game. Like, why can Japan do what they've been doing when you do it in Argentina or Chile, your currency goes to zero and your inflation goes to 88% and your people riot? The Japanese somehow have been doing this for 5 decades.
Right.
And so the big news was they've expanded this. Apparently there's no inflation in Japan. I don't know how they've evaded that, as commodity super cycle has to affect them too. Very interesting. Again, so many times, Matt, we have more questions than answers, but it did rally the yen and it did break the equities. And for me, it seemed so obvious when when all the stuff that I read about it was that over time, the Japanese are great investors in other assets. So that might dissuade some of those flows. Like, what are you kidding me? Like a half a basis point when you can get 4 and 5 someplace else? How is that going to dissuade you from putting your money where it can earn more money? So I thought it was a headline that needed to be faded. And we haven't looked at the yen in particular in a while. 6J. We didn't talk about it before, but why don't we bring it in? And why don't you tell me a little bit about
why don't you give me the momentum look while I'm pulling it up?
All right, hold on. That'd be great. Yeah, turn it down. Turn it down. 6J. There we go. Let's go to let's just go to the daily. Again, I got to tell you, oh man.
Yeah, somebody knew what was coming because it's been spiking.
So it spiked on the news.
Well, but it has been going up.
And this was, yeah, it had been going up. Correct. At some point, and maybe just not yet. And that's why I fractal out. Let's go to the weekly. The weekly is fully turned, but I mean, it's got a lot of room to retrace when you look at it, where it came from. I mean, it came from this 09 area, we're going to call, all the way down to the 06 area. I mean, I don't see why it can't continue here, even though I kind of think that's not what I wanted. I wanted a monthly. I mean, it had gotten so crushed to basically all time. Oh, look at this. Finally, a little level here. This monthly average, 0.77777525. I just don't see how long-term a half a basis point makes a kill of beans a difference in the flows. I don't see it. So
right.
You got this level on the monthly average, and then you got these lows from the past 2 decades, right? At 08, that once they broke through there, it plummeted. So maybe you get a stretch all the way back to that 08 level, where at some point you need to be shorting the yen. My opinion, guaranteed, probably.
I mean, it's on a slow march to zero, of course, just like the dollar is. So, but I think it is ahead of the dollar in its course. Yeah, I mean, look at the long-term chart. We just, we bottomed down here just recently, and again in October. Down here at whatever 0.00668, and now we're up to 0.0077. So, it's up 20% from that low. But I mean, this is just no man's land. And
how about it? I mean, it is so thin on that profile.
Yeah.
Again, that's important for you to look at. It's like there's no strong opinions in that whole area.
Right. There aren't, and there's a lot of holes, but what else is going to drive it up? I don't know, but I wouldn't touch it. I just wouldn't trade it unless it was a basket against other currencies, and I was, involved in some type of manufacturing trade from Japan to Korea to China to the US. You know what I mean? I mean, there's some people that need to be involved in it, but this is not something currently that I would want to be trying to make.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right, Matt, what else do we got? Anything else? I saw the the Masters tournament will allow all live players to play that
there's like 23. Well, again, they'd have no tournament if they didn't. So there's like 23 of the best players are, coming from the live. So, and they had qualified. So basically what they said is if you qualified with our myriad of ways, because the Masters is a little bit different. It kind of stands apart from the PGA, and they have their own rules.
They have their own governance,
and they have their own rules. So just like Wimbledon, they did not want anybody outside, so they cut out Djokovic. They made their own rules in the opposite direction. These people down at Augusta are business people, and they can't let it die. They're not going to let it die. So
no chance. Hey, Lee, thank you for saying that, because breaking news, Mistrade, the ultimate don't, the always short, the still non-believer in the Lions winning the Super Bowl. A non-believer is currently long Tesla. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, as long as 141 holds. So I got 50 cents in me. So there you go. I bought it here at 141.50. So it's right where I bought it. You can join me if you want.
It's pretty clear. I mean,
it's not clear. I mean, this thing could easily go to 125 still here by the end of the year. So I'm not that excited about it. I could be out, if we close below 141 on the close, I'm gone. I'm not sticking
right on.
Right now, but it's down another 6% today, and this week has been brutal. But it's not turning either. So again, I'm catching falling knives. I don't recommend it.
Right on. Well, I think you do that just to reaffirm the fact that
it sucks being long. Yes.
Yeah, that you are the don't, that you play the short side more effectively.
Yeah, and I just did it with some calls that are easy to let expire by Friday. So I don't really care.
On.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. See,
and again,
but that's why it's called.
It's an ugly chart, and I think it's going to $20. I think it's going to 25 ultimately.
We saw, Matt, today that the state of I love this. The state of Oregon has said no, we will not sell combustion engine cars by 2035. But they didn't say anything about how many cars are on the road, what that electricity need is, and how they were going to make sure that
there's no plan. It's just a bunch of talk, right?
It's back to the Twitter model where I'm leaving Twitter, but only 1.6 of you have actually left. Right. Wouldn't that be refreshing on how we're going to attack the shortage of electricity and the electricity needed to do that?
Yeah.
Because at this point, it's just a bunch of, it's just everything's news driven. Everything's a headline. Everything's blah, 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 blah. It's a joke.
Yeah. No plans, no how we're going to get it done. Just, we're not going to allow gas cars on our roads in 10 years. Okay. What about your gas buses and, because they're not all electric anywhere in this world and country. And what about trains? And what about, good luck. I just don't see it happening, Bob. But again, I think this will play out over time. The housing had some more shitty numbers today. I don't know if you saw that, but it was like the 8th month in a row. Housing starts are compressed down. I want to say another 9-10% year over year, month over month, going down. So that continues to be in play, and and then you hear the other side. There's so much demand. I'm like, how is there demand when nobody's buying? Like, where do you?
Oh, you know what? Bring up du jour on the housing sector. Let's just take a look at that as we.
I'll bring up Toll Brothers, and again, that has had a little bounce here, up to 52, trading 50 from 40, from a high of 75, and the COVID low down here at 12. So
I love the underbelly there of that the double lows there before they've spiked to the high that they're going to go retest, or it looks like they want to retest.
Well, I mean, it looks to me like it's having a hard time getting above 52, really, or 53, and probably will go back down to 30. And then if that falls out to 12. But
yeah, I think it's interesting too that
it's bullish. It's bullish right now, but I'd fade it. I would fade it.
I think it's interesting that especially these last 2 weeks of the year, that don't be too married to a move that you see, because there's so many moving parts.
A
year out.
I mean, Apple's a good example of that right now. Like, they're pressing on it now because everybody was buying it at 150, up here to 175 again. Again into August, and then we just had this rally here to 155. Everybody was getting all frothed. We're testing these lows again. We got down to 129.89, 128.87. So we're right there. We're right, and again, the value zone's down here at 82. So this thing's going to go down, and it's got work to do. The market can't bottom until Apple goes down. So there's your leading indicator. And, this thing's got a lot of work to the downside to do. Point of control is still down here around 44 in the long-term charts. And if this 125, 128 area breaks, why wouldn't we start pressing down into the $80 level and then have some slow battles back down into the $45, $50 level?
Yeah, I was amazed. I was looking at some electronics, and I'm amazed at how well they have defended their price points for their laptop computers. And at some
they're
point,
not selling many, they're not selling many.
Again, at some point, there has to be this giant disconnect with people saying, I'm not going to spend $1,800 or $2,000 when I can get,
I mean, I've seen a lot of the iMac. I've seen a lot of the brand new iMacs for $1,200. So which is just the one big screen.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, everybody. I think so many people have just gone to the phone. I mean, nobody even uses computers anymore. Unless you have to get into the spreadsheet world, or you're writing, which is easier on a full keyboard.
Well, now you got Chat GPT, and you don't even have to write anymore. You just let the AI write it.
Yeah, just like your art. Your art is being done by the computer.
In fact, let me share that, because I thought this is a painting I painted, and it's hanging in your house as we speak. And I had the AI do a little work with it. And there's a classic painting called Misty Mood. Mm-hmm. And we applied the Misty Mood oil on canvas AI interpretation of the painting that I did. I mean, I got to tell you, I think the Chinese, the Chinese art is the one that is in most danger. You go to, Hobby Lobby after you went to Bed Bath and Beyond and Home Depot on your busy Saturday, and Hobby Lobby's got all this cheesy, art from China that they just mass produce. I don't know. This to me looks like that's somebody that's going to suffer, those mass producers, because this is, I don't know. I thought it was a pretty cool adaptation, and there's the original. I won't bring it up. And that's what the AI did with it. Looks cool on the wall.
I'd like to have both of them in the same room.
You can buy I'm gonna buy the print for you. How about that? And Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. All right, that's what we got.
It's a weird week, because we have a full week of trading, but it sure feels like it's closed already. And I think next week's going to be closed. So I think you and I are taking off next week for sure.
100%. In fact, I think we call it tomorrow. We call it tomorrow as our
so maybe we'll cover football tomorrow. We've got the full.
We're going to cover football, and I promise to do a cooking vamp segment, 7 minutes in the Manja kitchen.
It's weird because Christmas Eve is Saturday and Christmas is Sunday, and we got a full slate. Like Saturday is just ruining, women and men who hate football. Like it's just ruining Christmas for me. Because it's all weekend. I mean, wow.
Foosball. All right, that's what we got. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Mark. Bowl games. We got the NFL Pro Set, great reveal coming. In fact, let's do it right now, man. Let's open up the NFL Pro Set from 1990. 1990 NFL Pro Set. Here we go. Odds on Joe Theismann. Joe Theismann could be in here, right? He was still playing. Hold on. No gum, which is a joke. We got the Super Bowl 20 card and the ring. Pete Holohan, never heard of him. Eugene Lockhart, I remember him, Cowboys. Anthony Carter, AC, Matt. AC.
Number one. The original number one.
Jerry Gray.
What year was this? What year was Anthony? 1980?
1990.
What? Did he play it then? He played that long for the Vikings?
Tony Zendejas. I remember him.
The kicker.
Yeah. Ricky Jackson, linebacker, Saints. Paul Gruber, offensive tackle. Shane Conlon. Remember him? Linebacker for the Bills.
Penn State.
Don Griffin, Mike Kofer, kicker. I got 2 kickers in this batch. That's bullshit. Andre Rison, wide receiver. Sam Mills, linebacker.
Andre
Will-
Bad Moon.
oh,
Andre Bad Moon Rising. Don't forget.
one of my favorite players, dude. Wilbur Marshall.
Oh, yeah.
And they got him in the Redskins uni. Come on, Chicago Bear, Wilbur Marshall. He was an animal. Super Bowl 20. That's what we got. The great reveal.
Andre Rison, Michigan State Spartan. He was dating
How much you want for it? I'll give it to you for 25 cents.
He was dating the TLC gal who torched his house. Good times. Those were good times. Let's see what we have. Like my favorite bowl game is coming. My two favorite bowl games are tonight, Bob. Eastern Michigan versus San Jose State in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl.
Right on.
And then we have the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, Liberty versus Toledo. Big night for the MAC.
I got to tell you something right now.
I think you're going to be celebrating.
Toledo is going to mop up against Liberty University. A mop up job.
What are these games?
Believe me, Toledo, the what are they? The Rockets or something like that?
Yeah, Toledo Rockets for sure.
Yeah, they will destroy Liberty. Those kids
I
from
mean,
Liberty have
these
no
college
idea what's
games
coming.
these are bowl games. These are horrendous. I don't want to watch one of these. Baylor Air Force.
unless you are forced to put money on it. Man, here's your Christmas present. AC, Anthony Carter,
Yes.
Michigan. I'm bringing
Vikings.
it over.
Yeah.
Didn't he go to University of Michigan, AC?
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
No, that's why I said the original number one.
Yeah, exactly.
One of my favorite experiences was Anthony Carter in the big house. Michigan was about to lose to Indiana at home. All right. And dude, it was rough. I'm trying to get this for you so I can show you. So just bear with me 1 second. I'm going to show you because the play was unbelievable. All right.
I'm ready. I'm always ready.
And this was back when Michigan didn't throw, by the way.
Michigan didn't complete a forward pass.
They didn't throw. Look at Bo. He's
Under center is Wangler at the 45. He goes back. He's looking for a receiver. He throws down.
Oh, nice.
I fell down. I got stomped on, and we won the game. We were down. We were tied.
That is fantastic. All right, enough of Michigan bullshit. That's what we got. Please join us at marketvitals.io. It's not too late to get to Amazon.com and buy some shrimp mojo for your New Year's Eve, maybe Christmas. You might get it in time. Shrimp mojo. Put some shrimp mojo on that. Mojo that shit. That's what we got. Thank you very much. And we will be back tomorrow for a holiday broadcast of Market Vitals. The levels you need to know to triage the market. Yeah, we got calls, we got hashtags. All we need is that spot. Somebody step up to the plate. That's it. Thank you. Hold on.
Why don't you get on the phone with Mike Lindell and pillow.com? You can get him going for us.
You know what, Mike? That's probably a good one because there's plenty of times when you should have a pillow near you as a trader so you can bite the pillow. Wait a second. I went with the shit.
Shit. You shit yourself.